Welcome to the prelims portion of the episode 155 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're recapping UFC Fight Night, Dolidze and Imavov. Go check out our main card video if you're interested in hearing us talk about that main card. But here on Beefy Boys Breakdown, we talk about every single fight on every single card, including the prelims, man. And I love these prelims, man. I can't wait to get into them with you.
Well, I was going to say when you were introducing that if you're checking out the main card, I know you're not going there to see the main event breakdown because the main event was terrible. And that being said, bro, honestly, the prelims definitely could be in contention to have been better than the main card last night, which is not something I like saying, but like the prelim main event was super fire with Molly Meatball going to a new weight class. We're going to see how that went for her. And honestly,
Jung Young Lee. I'm so in on Jung Young Lee, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so bro, I'm high on this kid.
The fight of the night comes between Azat Maxim and Charles Johnson. So I think the prelims is packed, man. We got a lot to go through here.
No, for sure, man. Some gas prelims and jerking the curtain. We got Thomas Peterson minus 175 taking on Jamal Pogues plus 145 in the heavyweight division. And man, this fight was cool because while I predicted it wrong, I didn't bet it. And
same.
It's the same way with Natalia Silva Aruja fight, which I did bet. I lost, but it's like, hey, we got Natalia Silva out of this. I'll take that. Like as a fan, we got like a new and I'm not saying Pogues is that, but bro, I went from not taking Pogues seriously at all, like this guy's just not ready, he's not UFC caliber, just the progression, bro. Now I'm like on board of like, okay, this guy's like a prospect. I'm not saying he's like the next guy, but he's like 1,000% like a UFC caliber fighter. Like he made a lot of progression.
He, to me, kind of reminds me of like a poor man's Derek Lewis. I mean, clearly out of shape, like does not take the athletic, like athlete side of this seriously. All good, has power, has technique, is a heavyweight, so it doesn't have to be in crazy shape like the rest of the other weight classes. So, and I saw the reaction from you for the Derek Lewis comparison. I think it's pretty fair. I don't know that he has the same level of power, but I do think he has that same like raw skill, and you can see it being shaped, and that he could potentially find himself in that same path.
Just like that marketing angle, right? Like Derek Lewis is like a.
Looks like we might have a full freeze here on our hands. This is odd.
Am I back? All
right, we're back. Yeah, so...
sorry, man. I was ready. He's going to kind of play that Derek Lewis role, potentially, from like a marketing standpoint, more so than the X's and O's.
Yeah, well, I question, I do want to see Pogues come through on the mic a little more. I think that on the mic he could have a little more personality. I think he's fun. But I just think maybe if he would full sell it, he could really do a lot better for himself.
No, for sure, man. And how did you score this one? I don't know if we necessarily need to go round by round. But, I mean, I'll let it out. I went 30-27, but I thought rounds 1 and 3 were close. So I leaned Pogues in the close rounds, but I understand if you give 1 or 3 to Peterson.
So I had one. I mean, it was I thought a fun round, entertaining round. I still thought it was a Pogues round for sure. I thought Peterson. Did he get the late takedown in this round?
Yeah. It was like the last 30 seconds. He got a good takedown, some decent ground and pound, but like I said, he lost like 4 minutes of the round. So.
Yeah, and Pogues was kind of chinning him in the start. Like, I mean, the hands were landing on Peterson. Peterson's chin, very underrated. Because he was eating missiles the whole fight.
Yeah.
That being said, I scored the first round of Pogues. Second round, I don't think there's any question that's a Pogues round. And then...
and the second round is where we got to see the second round is where we got to see the Pogues takedown defense, which is where, I talked a lot about him progressing and rounding out his skill set. Like, I don't know if the previous versions of Pogues stuffed those takedowns. Like, he's gotten better at that.
100% agree. We actually saw him grow as a fighter, which was pretty interesting. We haven't really had that out of him recently, or at least I didn't expect it. And then round 3, I thought Pogues knew he was up 2 rounds. Personally, I think he kind of foot off the gas slightly, whereas Peterson knew he was down 2 rounds, so foot all over the gas. I thought Peterson's activity was enough to outdo Pogues in round 3, so I scored it to Peterson. But I do have in my notes that I have no problems if you go Pogues in that round. I thought it was very close.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I saw the round pretty similar. I just kind of leaned Pogues. I have the words like Peterson went for it in my notes. Like, he really did try. He really did like go for it. But I didn't find him going for it to be all that effective. I thought Peterson A for effort, one of those things. I just didn't think it like really manifested into anything substantial.
100%. Yeah, I mean, and Peterson's one of those guys, like, great chin, never quit. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to learn how to defend his head. And also, it seems like he might be a really good fighter from top position, and he was pretty nasty in that last 30 seconds. But to that point, you got to get the takedown to get there. So, needs takedown offensive improvement and striking defensive improvement. And I can see Peterson being really good. But if he doesn't focus those 2 things, that is going to be a not long career in the UFC, but long career for his jaw.
Yeah, that Josh Parisian career.
Yes.
But we'll keep it pushing here. We got some lightweight prospects up next. We got Landon Quinones. Was on the most recent season of Ultimate Fighter, plus 115. Taking on Markel Medeiros in his debut. Minus 135 favorite. You got him at minus 150, so El Dorado was really looking out for you. But you got a gift from the gambling gods anyway, so I guess we can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, unanimous decision here, but no, I did have Medeiros. People at home that are wondering, I had a 4-leg parlay. Ends up being a 3-leg parlay because fuck Ali Ashkhaev, Khizriev. Check out the main event, the main card video. That'll explain more of that for that short fucker. But the reason I bet on Medeiros, I literally thought his name was Marcel Medeiros. His name is Markel Medeiros. I couldn't have told you this guy from Adam. But the reason I bet on him was because for some reason a lot of money was coming in on him and not a lot of bets. And that told me that large wagers were coming in on a guy that I had no idea about. So I wondered to myself, why would large wagers come in on a guy that's unknown making a debut? Must have an advantage somehow, so I decided to ride it.
Yeah, and this was a no bet for me because, like you said, I didn't know shit about Medeiros, but also I don't think very highly of Landon Quinones. So, a bettor for me, it was kind of like a lose-lose. Just, hey, I'm not touching this one kind of fight. That being said, we have to go round by round on this one.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, controversial scorecard. Like you said, unanimous decision. So it wasn't controversial amongst the judges, but I think amongst fans, I think a lot of fans disagree with the judges.
Let's definitely go round by round. I disagree with me winning money based on this fight. I'll let that out of the bag. But as to which rounds go where, we will paint that picture for you. Yeah, round one. They were talking about how Medeiros usually has like a high pace and controls the range and is the aggressor. Well, I guess Quinones watched film because he didn't let that happen. Quinones was in his face, landing. The other thing too is they might have landed close to the same amount of shots in the first round. Every time Quinones hit Medeiros, it was like rocking Medeiros' head. So the visual of the impact of Quinones' shots immediately, like that round, first round Quinones, just based on the visual impact of the shots.
The round to Quinones. So, I totally agree with that. We saw round one the same. I didn't find it that hard to score. I didn't find it to be a close round. 10-9 Quinones all day.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, close. Not even at all. I mean, man, the strike numbers are close in the round, but it's like not a close round. You know what I'm saying?
Did all the judges give it? Or do you have that pulled up?
Yeah, so...
I thought round two actually was close.
Yeah, I thought all the rounds were fairly close, but this one probably being the least close, in all honesty. But, all judges go Quinones here. All judges actually have identical scorecards.
Wow, that's
which is crazy because In round 2, I thought better round for Medeiros. I still thought Quinones did enough to win that round.
So I thought round 2 was pretty tough to score. I actually did give it to Medeiros.
Oh,
He was
I'm
moving
sorry.
forward
This
a
is
lot
round 2.
of that round.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, round 2 I have Medeiros. It's round 3 I have the other way.
Yeah. Round 2, I think it's fair to give to Medeiros. Just he was kind of marching down Quinones and kind of the more active guy. It's not like he did a ton of damage, but he was just put out a lot of volume.
Would you agree with this? Medeiros' second round was better than his third.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure because like I thought this fight was a very visual fight. Like if you watched this with no commentary, you might have had a better like honest viewing of the fight because like the reactions from Medeiros were almost never good. The second round was the only round where like he kind of got the same reactions out of Quinones because in the third he really doesn't like land big shots.
Well, even in the second, it wasn't about him landing big shots. He just, I honestly think Quinones kind of took round 2 off. Like Quinones just didn't have any of those big moments like he had in round 1.
Yeah.
So it seemed like he was kind of getting outworked by Medeiros.
Yeah, work rate became a
keeping
huge theme. You're totally right. So 1919, all the judges have it 1919. It comes down to the third. To let the cat out of the bag earlier, I thought Quinones fought a better third round.
Me too, man. And like close. Like I thought Quinones like won the round like straight up. I didn't find it to be like controversial.
I really didn't either, man.
Which,
like
yeah,
I
it's
just
just wild to me. Like,
I thought if we're just scoring it just based on pure damage, I mean, I thought Quinones landed the better shots in the third. Now I know that Medeiros outlanded him by like maybe 4 or 5 punches in the round, but I thought Quinones made him count more.
like literally, my notes are almost verbatim to that, bro. Like more. I had bad intentions. Quinones was like swinging with bad intentions. Like he was hurting Medeiros, and Medeiros was not hurting him. Like caveman Matt.
Bro, I'll be real though. I mean, in full fight perspective, so Medeiros ends up winning on the judges' scorecards 29-28 unanimous. Dominic and I both score at Quinones. Very confusing here. My honest takeaway though for Medeiros is that I'm not a lot to take away with him like going forward. Like he seems like a point fighter. He doesn't seem like a fighter's fighter. And I think in the UFC you can't just be a point fighter. Like I think in lower promotions you can probably outpoint guys. That's so hard to do in the UFC.
Or especially at lightweight, bro. At lightweight, you gotta be a killer.
Yeah, wrong weight class. We talked about it last night on the prelim breakdown that if you're a bantamweight or lightweight, you might as well try to move to featherweight or welterweight.
Yeah, bro. And also, to your point, on my power rankings, I did not move Medeiros ahead of Quinones. I think Quinones is the better fighter.
Well, I mean, true to your rankings, if you score the fight for the man, then in your rankings you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's consistent.
Yeah, I thought for sure, bro. That's why our bets have been cashing, baby. Let's keep
quick. Quick footnote for these people at home. That would be the third leg of my parlay there, out of the because the Khizraev fiasco. So your boy does cash. Yeah. D-Max out of your cash and parlays, which we'll get to. But yeah, it's been going green, and we had different betting like mediums. The way we got to the picks, I literally went with a blind strategy. You went with a like tailored like your hard work strategy. Both paid, and I think that tells me if I run this strategy again and it pays again, we're gonna start overlaying that over the rankings you already have and seeing the places where it fully lines up, and then we're just gonna ride. Then we're gonna ride.
Let's go. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, man. And let's go with this next fight on these prelims. Luana Carolina plus 125 dog against Julia Stolyarenko minus 150 women's flyweight. I'll be real. This fight ended up. I thought this fight was going to be a snoozer. Like I was not looking forward to watching this. It wasn't bad. Like they got after it.
No,
it wasn't no snooze fest.
I fully expected Stolyarenko to make it way more snoozy. Like I knew Carolina was going to try to stand and strike and have a good fight. I thought Stolyarenko was going to cage control, clinch, sweep legs, reap legs, get takedowns, be lazy. honestly, I saw a path for a Stolyarenko sub here, too. And she does get credited with 3 sub attempts, which...
I was about to say, she was throwing them up. A for effort. Now, this was weird because this is probably the best I've seen Carolina look. However, she missed weight by 4 pounds. I don't think that's I think that's correlated.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard to give a lot of credit to someone that misses weight especially in 10-pound gaps, man. Like, she damn near was a bantamweight. So it's almost like, yeah, congrats. You had a fantastic performance. You looked really good. You also didn't meet the qualifications to fight in this weight class. So I don't know how to look at it at the end of the day. Like, I think it's a great performance, but can I get that performance out of you and you cut that last 4 pounds where it really hurts? I don't know.
I totally agree. It definitely taints the really good performance for sure. I don't know if we have to go round by round on this one. Carolina pretty much dominated. I mean, she was piecing her up on the feet, and then she was actually able to reverse the takedown attempt. People thought the Stolyarenko might have the grappling advantage, but not really, to be honest. At third round, Carolina gets a ground and pound TKO from side control. Stolyarenko was attacking some triangles and some arm bars, but just, close but no cigar.
Yeah, every time she would get something real close to being just far enough and locked in, Carolina would do just enough to defend, get out, reset, and honestly continue to dominate positions every time she would escape. It wasn't like that Stolyarenko was getting big advantages or being able to land, big damage, like getting this triangle halfway locked in, landing elbows like Tony Ferguson. It was nothing like that. Like, for the most part, I thought Carolina fought a pretty dominant fight. I had my notes that I was going to have it 30-27. She gets the finish with 8 seconds left. And kind of a mercy finish. Like, I thought you could have let Stolyarenko ride out the 8 seconds, honestly. Like, if I'm the ref, I'll be real. If I'm the ref and I'm watching it and I hear the wood blocks, clapping like that, and this girl's, still writhing and, kicking around, I'm not so inclined to save her right there.
Yeah, I was fine with it either way because, like you said, it doesn't impact. Either we were going to get this ground and pound TKO or we were going to get a 30-27, maybe even a 30-26. I don't know.
Here's my other
damage.
Here's my other defense of it is she wasn't eating devastating shots. It wasn't elbows raining down, splitting her open. They were just kind of side control punches.
Yeah. I think the ground and pound from side control is what makes this finish kind of unique. You don't see it that often. But I think that just goes to show also that Stolyarenko was toast. She was toast. She was done.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting pounded out from side control, you know what I mean?
You could see after she didn't get her final triangle attempt that she was broken. I mean, it was 40 seconds to go in the fight, and she just decided, all right, that was my Hail Mary. Didn't hit it. Might as well let them take this knee. Although, I think for, longevity of career, stats, I mean, you got to fight to not get finished with 8 seconds.
Oh, that's a very good point. But see, also at the end of the day, I don't think any of this matters. Call me a hater, not really. I'm just trying an accurate better. I have both of these girls in my second to lowest tier of this weight class. The women's flyweight is really the haves and have-nots. If you're the top 15 is literally all world class. I think anybody, at least in my personal top 15, is damn near could win a title. They're that deep. I have Tracy Cortez, I think, at 15, and she's undefeated.
Yeah, she's good.
But the have-not, it's the haves and the have-nots. The bottom of the weight class, yeah. So I just, to be honest, but good performance from Carolina. She's probably going to have her next fight at bantamweight. Stolyarenko is quickly approaching Cam's here, and let's keep it pushing.
11-9-2 is a hard record to defend. We will keep it pushing. Let's get to the full top-off stroke job of Jianyong Lee and Blake Builder here, because it sounds like from our small amounts that we talked about it, we both like Jianyong Lee a lot in this fight.
I'm ready, bro. I'm fucking ready.
Yeah. Get that devil's lube out there.
No, bro, real talk. the Korean Tiger, bro. I made a tweet from the Beefy Boys account. Go give us a follow if you want at Beefy Breakdown. We always live tweet the fights. But I have Zombie, the Tiger, passing the torch.
Yep.
Korean Zombie retired. Korean Tiger is born. The circle of Korean UFC stars. Like
literally,
for real though, he's the first
at featherweight.
Yeah, no, seriously, we got a new Korean Zombie, y'all. Let's go.
Korean Tiger upgraded 2.0. Doesn't just eat a bunch
I was
of
about to
unnecessary
say,
shots.
Might be better. Might be better.
Yeah, I mean,
tigers are cooler than zombies. Let's be real.
I mean, Blake Builder landed 19 significant strikes in the entire fight. I wouldn't say anyone's a zombie if they only have to eat 19 strikes in 15 minutes.
Boy, he looks like a freak show in there, bro. He was so much bigger than Builder, taller,
faster,
stronger,
way faster. Like the speed, I thought was like, oh, he's like a legit gonna be top 15 featherweight. Like I thought his skill set was top 15 featherweight. That's what it screams to me. Well-rounded and athletic.
Athlete, jumped off the screen, the size, the speed, the measurables. And then sick ass fight IQ. Every time Builder started covering up high, he would rip to the body, and he was hurting Builder with distant punches to the body, which gets me from 6 to midnight real quick. Bro, talk about stroke job. I gave out 2 10-8s. I did not wait to. Yeah, I was instantly. It was love at first sight, bro. I was hitting out first 10-8s the first 2 rounds I've ever watched this guy fight.
Sorry, I'm just looking at his stats here. He's 28 years old. He won't be 29 until November. Second fight in the UFC. He won in the Road to UFC back in February of last year. So he literally fought February 4th of last year and February 3rd of this year. So I would like to see.
Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah, he had the knee surgery.
Right. So this year we're going to see a lot more activity out of him. Bro,
this was him out of the surgery.
Yeah, he could be poised for a pretty good run this year.
Both 10-8s, man. For different reasons. Round 1, 10-8 was almost all on the feet. He hurt him with punches to the body. He was hurting him with elbows. With the knee, he hurt him 3 different times. And then he kind of went through for the finish with a barrage of body punches. Built a great chin.
Yeah.
And then in round 2. This fight was almost he almost finished him on the feet in 1, almost finished him on the ground in 2. That's why we're so high on this guy.
Yeah, so I will say I did give 1 10-8. I didn't give 2 10-8, but it was just dominance. But giving 1 the 10-8, I almost set a standard too high for round 2, if that makes sense. I probably should have separated it, but I was just stroking him so hard that I was just oh, the first one was 10-8. This one was so nice, but 10-9.
Yeah, I'll say though, you can argue it was closer getting stopped in 2 than it was 1.
Yeah, you could all. Yeah, absolutely. I was just going from a pure damage standpoint though. He was fucking Builder up in that first 5.
Mark Smith was a nut hitter away from stopping it too. He was about to step in. To credit to Builder, hell of a chin. Early chin of the year nominee, maybe even if you ask me.
Yeah, and honestly survived. 3 was the best round Builder fought. I'm not even gonna call it close, but
yeah, no, I agree. I have it 10-9 Lee.
More so
showed the grappling, showed the striking, showed the.
Well, and I would say 3, even though he won 3, 10-9, and it wasn't even a question, still for me it was one of those things where I'm man, he was able to even take his foot off the gas and still be ahead in the fight.
Games that you'd like to see him fight next?
Ooh. Man, honestly, I wouldn't mind him getting a vet, a Kelleher or someone like that that'll kind of give him Well, wait, is Kelleher bantamweight?
Yeah, he is. I believe.
Man, I'm trying to think of
I was thinking maybe like a Hakeem Dawood,
what.
maybe like a Hakeem Dawood, maybe I don't know, somebody like that.
What about like a T.J. Brown or fuck, I can picture this guy in my head. He fights out of Tennessee. Nate Landwehr.
Landwehr?
Yeah.
Nate Landwehr.
Is that too big of a jump?
Well, so that's what's crazy about my power rankings. I have T.J. Brown way below Lee already, and I have Nate the Train a little bit above him. That's why I think like around the range that I'm looking at is like a Bill Algeo, a Hakeem Dawood, Ricardo Ramos.
Algio's good. Algio would be good.
Somebody like that, though. Somebody like that. Somebody we've heard of, but like somebody who's like, still palatable.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could go the route of Darren Elkins. I don't think you'd do that.
Yeah.
But...
No, yeah, but that level of guy, I have Elkins in that similar range of guys. Yeah, no, I think that would work. But yeah, man, high on Lee.
Absolutely. Let's keep it pushing because I just want to talk about a guy that shouldn't be in the UFC coming up.
Are you talking about old stinky Pete Rodriguez?
Bro, this guy is so
200?
bad. How is plus 200 even the number? Like you getting on Garimbo at what, minus 245, minus 250?
Minus 195. So that was clutch.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's great. Especially considering he's fighting Pete Rodriguez, who threw 5 strikes in the fight and landed 0. So,
Yeah,
good.
man, I this was more me betting against Pete Rodriguez than I was betting on Themba Garimbo. No, I had Themba Garimbo above Rodriguez, but I have Garimbo pretty low on my rankings. I'm not going to lie, but I have Pete Rodriguez literally only above, and he may even like he's canned here for sure. So pretty much anybody on the roster that Pete Rodriguez was matched up against, I would have bet against him. I'm just as a better.
Bro, Pete Rodriguez is full can tier, full can. Like it's not even like, bro. I need to like start titling my bottom tiers just can, and like he can be the president of the tier. Like this dude looks like the guy that you would like literally see walking the street, and you'd be like, "Hey, bro, we got an event in town tonight. Like, you think you could maybe just step up and throw some hands?" He's like, "Fuck yeah, bro, I love throwing fucking hands." Shows up and gets absolutely starched for like $400. Like that's who Pete Rodriguez looks like he is.
Well, he got starched for $12,000. I mean, I guess it's not that dissimilar. But yeah, I mean, this fight lasted 32 seconds. 32-second knockout for Themba Garimbo. Literally just threw like a wingy right hand from the hip, and it connected flush.
Bro, and that's my big problem is that it connected flush, I guess, on his neck, on his fucking neck, and his forearm hit the chin. Like, bro, I'm very confused about Pete Rodriguez's level of chin. Like, can he even get punched like clean? Like, and he has no striking defense, so he will get punched clean. So it's like, man, I don't even know.
Well, I'll say the amount of force Themba like generated, it was almost like he lunged in. He literally threw like a schoolyard bar fight type of punch. Like he just threw like the biggest, widest right hook that you could possibly throw.
He effectively,
at least landed enough, but it was so much force generated.
He effectively clubbed him to death. Like that's what it looked like. It's just a club.
Yeah. No, not the most technical. This got a bonus, right? I believe.
Hold on. Let's see. Fight of the night, Molly McCann.
Oh no, it didn't.
Did not.
It didn't get a bonus. That's fucked up, low key. Hopefully the Rock gave him a bonus.
Randy Brown got the other bonus. You know what? Fuck this good guy story of Themba Garimbo. I hope he fights a villain. Give him Charles Radke. Give him Charles Radke. I'm here for it.
No, I'm here for it too, bro. They both got what first round knockouts. Good matchup. I think that like they're pretty similar tiers, honestly. I would personally pick Rocky if they fought, but you know, I think the matchup makes a lot of sense.
What do you say about old Chuck
Yeah,
Buff?
big knockout. Yeah, match him up with those Buffalo Chucks, bro. Let's get it going. But but yeah, man. So I got Grimbo cashed that leg of the parlay emphatically. That was the main takeaway from that one. Big knockout, but over a can. So it's like we can't project him forward too much because he knocked out the worst guy on the roster.
Yeah,
So it's like
that's the
how
big
much,
problem
you
here.
know.
Is I'm not blown away by Garimbo at all. In fact, I'm just proven in my belief that Pete Rodriguez is the absolute garbage monster.
I mean, the evidence is there to support your point, good sir. But man, let's keep it pushing to a flyweight banger. Fight of the night coming up.
Yes,
Both
sir.
men step away with an extra 50 G's. Charles Johnson plus 200, taking on the 17-0 undefeated Kazakh fighter Azat Maxim minus 250 flyweight. Really a crossroads point for both of these guys in the flyweight division. You know, like I think the winner of this fight has like ranked opponents in his future. And this is one where I've been so faithful to my power rankings as a bettor, and it's been paying dividends for me. However, I pussied out on this one. I had Charles Johnson above Azat, but I was like, oh, surely the 17-0 Kazakh guy. Like, I just couldn't. I didn't have the stones to pull the trigger, bro. I was like, there's no way. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm like betting Charles Johnson against this Kazakh killer. But I should have stayed true to my rankings. I had Charles Johnson, like power rankings dialed this one in, but I didn't have faith. It's shame on me.
Bro, I'll be real. I was looking at this as them setting up Charles Johnson to be cut. This would be his fourth loss in a row if he loses this fight. And now that's fucked up because like they give him really good fights, like good fighters every time, minus Jimmy Flick, who he finished in the first round. Shout out Jimmy Flick, no hate, love you, Oklahoma boy. But you know, you get finished the first round.
It's getting tough.
You know what it is. You know what it
is. It's getting tough.
You know what it is. But anyway, yeah, Azat Maxim, man, I'm with you. I didn't love the number because I love Charles Johnson to always put up a good fight. Like, he's just tough. It doesn't matter who fights him. The dude's tough. And plus athlete, super plus athlete. And I know the Kazakh guys, usually not super plus athletes, let's be real. Usually technicians that are just like some sort of weird, like horse meat tough. But that being said, Maxim started out the fight on fire.
No, he did, bro. I mean, I had a 10-8 Maxim and won. So I actually did score this a draw.
Oh,
I was generous with the 10-8s last night, but on Saturday.
That one you're kind of sailing them, but
I mean, all right. So hear me out. He got a knockdown. No, he had two knockdowns, a deep Darce attempt, and a takedown, all in 5 minutes.
Yeah, you know what it was? Johnson fought a good last 2 minutes because he got dominated for the first 3, and then I think he won the last 2 minutes. I'll be real.
That's a decent. Yeah, I'll hear that. I'll hear that point. But like, also what I said is true. Like he had a lot, and Johnson on Twitter after the fight was talking about how that was the hardest he's ever been hit, even by like a pro boxer.
Oh,
like he said that was the biggest shot he's ever taken,
bro.
Like, including from like
he
boxers that he sparred. Like he was given Azat his flowers. Like
the way he like looked in the first, I don't know, minute and a half after he got rocked from that first shot in round 1. It looked like he was like out on his feet. It's amazing he survived that round to get to 2 and 3.
Well, that's why I gave it a 10-8. I couldn't agree with you more. Like he almost got finished a few times. But yeah, we'll keep it pushing because I mean, Johnson was able to turn this fight on its head, man. Maxim slowed down a little bit, and Johnson just like gave him a tough ass fight, and I thought Johnson won the last 2 rounds.
I agree with you, although, man, round 2, very close. I can see how you get Maxim there, but I like Johnson's output.
Bro, those scrambles were so sick, bro. Like
Yeah.
like there was like a 2-minute long scramble in the middle of that round that was just like fucking amazing. It was high level shit from both guys. But yeah, Johnson he took the back. He got the damage on the feet. The calf kicks in that round were really hitting. I like Johnson's working too. And then round 3 is probably Johnson's best round of the fight.
Yes, I agree with you. Round 3, it felt like Johnson kind of took control of the pace. The striking exchanges definitely favored Johnson. And he got taken down once, but in my opinion, held that whizzer and was able to get back up and pretty much stay in neutral position the entirety of the time. Like, they'll probably register that as a takedown, but it's a worthless takedown. And then he got his own takedown, ended in full mount, landing big strikes. Like, I thought the visual end of the fight was a big way to score that 10-9 for Johnson as well.
Oh, and don't forget that ninja choke attempt was like pretty decent.
Oh, yeah,
like,
you almost put him out on the feet. You're fully right. You're fully right.
Yeah. Yeah, great round for Johnson. Great round for Johnson. So he said, I end up with 28-28. Nobody agrees with me, so I'll be over here in the corner by myself on that one.
I mean, you could argue that them getting fight of the night agrees with you in principle.
Good point. Hey, I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, I have it 29-28 Johnson, but yeah, I didn't consider that if you did 10-8 the first, it would be a draw, because I do think the rounds are fairly straightforward to score as far as like who wins them. Now, the differentiation between 10-8 and 10-9 in round 1 might be the hardest part of the whole fight, in all honesty, which goes to that point of if this was a split or a majority or even a draw, I still think it's fight of the night.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Also, love Johnson's call out. He called out our boy Joshua Van.
Great call out.
Give me that shit.
Now, I will say, calling for
I'm here
UFC
for
300 for that. Hey, man, you can get on another fight night. Let's calm down with that. But, you know, I like where his head's at.
1,000%. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's no chance in hell it'll be on 300. But hey, how about 302, buddy? I'll see you at 302.
Yeah.
On the early prelims.
We'll see you in late March, early June, my guy. Or late May.
Book your hotel for Vegas. Let's put it that way. But yeah, man. Let's see. Men's flyweight here. I have Joshua Van. Thoughts above Charles Johnson. So
it's a great fight.
Credit to Charles Johnson for being like aware of his division. So many of these fighters are like so like unaware of their own division and who's kind of seen as pretty similar tier as them and who has like what they want, you know what I mean? And who they're competing with for these big opportunities. And I think he was dialed in on that and made the perfect call out in Joshua Van. I'm here for it.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Now let's get to this this prelim main event, or featured prelim, I should call it. Jesus, don't want to give them the main event title ever for Molly McCann. No offense, but to her credit, man, dropping down a weight class to strawweight looked really good. And I think we've probably said this before that like she was a thicker flyweight, and if she could go down 10 pounds, she should, because that's only going to favor a girl with power. Like her whole style is striking and power. So if you can lose 10 pounds and still have it, do that. And she looked good at this weight.
And her losses have been getting out-grappled, and it's hard to get out-grappled by the smaller girls. You know what I mean? So, like, just overall, yeah, it looked super healthy. She didn't look like featherweight McGregor. She looked healthy as fuck. Like, it honestly looked like she just put the fucking howler head down.
Yeah, like, quite literally, it was like, hey, quit drinking a bunch of booze and eating pizzas with Patty every fucking week, and we'll get this 115 all day.
All day. And to her credit, she said all the right things. She kind of like admitted that like the fame caused her to like lose some focus, and she's recommitted. And her body is testament to that. It's not just words; it's actions behind it. Like she was like, call her Slim Jim Molly. She didn't look like no meatball. She looked tight.
And I think she went and did a Polaris grappling tournament and either got second or first. And it's like, Yeah, that's a big deal. That's literally the type of shit that you need to see from her to progress her career in a positive manner, and like she's doing it. So credit to her. Took the L's the right way. Now that being said, what are the odds here on this fight? She minus 260.
McCann, yeah, minus 260 against Diana Belbitsa, plus 210. This was a lock for me. I put it on two separate parlays. This was basically my lock of the week.
Yeah, his or I have fucked you on this one.
Yeah, because it turned it from a two-legger that I think was playing like plus 190 to a straight bet on a minus 260. So that fucked me real hard on that two-legger. But yeah, bro. I was betting against Belbitsa more than I was betting for Molly McCann. I'm super out on Belbitsa, and Belbitsa was like out on herself. I didn't know that they like coaxed her out of retirement for this fight. So it's not like I'm being an asshole by saying I didn't believe in Belbitsa. Belbitsa didn't believe in Belbitsa. This was my lock of the week.
And not to mention, like, her getting her arm, like, ripped out and, like, broken essentially there at the end is like, oh, man, like, you didn't want to fight and you got your elbow snapped. Like,
I fucking knew it.
And 4:59 of the round. So all you had to do was not get caught for 3 more seconds.
Yeah, if that. I agree. First, as you just alluded to, first round armbar sub for Molly McCann, who has some submission losses. So, like you said, she really took those L's in stride, worked on her grappling, went to grappling tournaments, got in the best shape of her life. I loved everything about it, man. She got a bonus performance of the night.
Deserved,
that was a get-right fight. That was a get-right fight.
Get-right fight, I agree. Fully agree, but it's not like it was she came out there and just kind of slugged her way to a decision and like looked okay and kind of dragged ass to the weight. She performed
really well.
Yeah, she showed up, looked the part as far as the cut down 10 pounds, looked really good in the octagon, and then showed us the improved part of her game that was the one part that we knock all the time, which is grappling and submission, offense, defense. So, yeah, I thought Molly McCann came out and checked every single box that had to be checked to someone like me that kind of looked at her as like a gimmick fighter. No offense to her.
Well, all right, no. How do you project her going forward? Because I had to give myself a reality check. After this fight, in the moment, I was like, "Oh, Meatball's a real player at strawweight." But then, after the fights were over, I hopped over to my power rankings and started just juxtaposing her against the other girls in the division. And man, it was hard for me to put her over some young lions like Eduarda Mora and Mizuki Inoue. Like there's some young killers.
I like her way more than Inoue.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, man. But how high do you like her more than a Bruna Brazil? Do you like her more than a Yasmin Lucindo, a Piera Rodriguez, a Loma Lugbumbi? Like these are all like unranked girls.
Let me tell you. Yes. I like her closer to 13, 14, Kovalkiewicz, Waterson, Gomez.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a matchup thing for her. I don't disagree with you. Like, she probably beats, strawweight is such like a matchup-based division. It's almost hard to do a power rankings because like the styles, like a Tabitha Ricci and an Angela Hill and a Denise Gomes, like I have all of them right by each other, but they're all such different fighters with different body types and different styles. Like they're really hard to like juxtapose against one another.
See, it's strange because like in that right there, that crux, like you're so right because like against Gomes, I love Meatball. Against Ricci, I hate Meatball, and against Hill, I think that's a great fight.
Yes, exactly. Like, and I have them all ranked right by each other, but Ricci, I think, is a really bad matchup for Meatball.
Whereas Gomes is really good. Like, she could beat Gomes, I think, because Gomes is going to try to come out and pretty much power strike.
And bang with her.
Yeah, and
Meatball's going to be a fun fight.
Meatball's going to, that's probably what should be next, honestly. Like, you might have already written that matchmaking in. But, like, I also think if she gets someone like a Jillian Robertson, I don't know that Robertson's going to be able to be strong enough to grapple her out. And that's
I think that's a nightmare matchup for me. But I know the grappling's improved, but Jillian Robertson, purely like submission grappling, maybe the best in that division.
Probably so that, but she eats bombs.
She does eat bombs. In her last fight, I feel like she did better of like figuring that out a little bit. You know what I mean? But you're right. Just these strawweights are so matchup based, bro. Like I feel like they can all beat each other just based on the matchup.
But I'll say this: I think top 10 is reaching far for Meatball because I think Godinez, Pinheiro, and Ribas and Dern all could beat her in different ways.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, man. I agree with that. You like I said, even Tabitha Ricci.
Yeah, I think Ricci's tough. It's purely matchup there, but also like, yeah, I think Meatball can get to maybe 12 in this weight class comfortably.
See, it's crazy because I have girls ranked low that I think would beat her, like a Piera Rodriguez, a fucking a Loma Lookboomy, a Yasmin Haragui.
Okay,
but I
so
also think she could probably beat like a Colvin Kowich or a Hill, which are ranked higher in my power rankings. I think I need to dive into my strawweight power rankings. I think that's what this is telling me.
I think Piera should go up in your rankings. I think Lucindo should go down. I like Piera a lot. I think she just needs to fight more. I don't know if I love Yorgi or Lucindo. I mean, those two fought each other, and it was a fantastic fight. But since then, it hasn't been like the best performances from either, and I'm almost wondering if I'm overvaluing them based on their fight against each other.
But also, like, how do we see Meatball? She's taking hella L's. Are you doing some like Andre Feely energy? Like, this is my debut. Like, was last night? Are we just giving Meatball a new leap? Or like, it's hard to completely forget like her getting like taking some bad L's.
Yeah, but I agree with you. But it almost feels like what's his name? Paul Craig at 205 versus 85. Like, I just believe in the ability with, like, the weight seems to fit the body way more. Like, I just think we're going to see maximized potential. And so with that in mind, I'm saying, like, what's her best potential? What's her best outcome? So that's kind of where I'm at because she did look like that.
She looked real good. She did look real good. Now, but she looked good. I mean, almost like we said about goddamn Themba Garimbo. Like, bro, I have Belbitsa in my can tier. So she got a sub over like a total can. Like, I guess I'm kind of viewing her more like Themba Garimbo than I am viewing her as like the next top 10 girl.
Let me ask you this. Just theoretical question. In the prime of his career, if he had gone down to one division, how do you think he would have done? Colby Covington from 70 to 55. Because I think Covington could have made that cut. And I don't think anyone's going to wrestle him at 55.
Yeah, I think he's like top 5. I mean, see that, but I think that I don't know if he's like champ. He's not beating Khabib or Islam. So I think he's right the same where he is at welterweight. Top 5, top 4, top 3.
But do you think he beats a guy like McGregor?
Possibly, but like you could also argue like I mean, does he beat a Justin Gaethje? Like maybe not. Like.
Yeah, it's I'm just saying that it's one of those things where it's like when those guys go and they're I guess already like physically inclined on their style, like their style requires some physicality like Meatballs or Covington's does obviously at their weights previously. When you can drop a weight class, it almost is like a guaranteed advantage.
Agreed, man. Agreed. I guess I'm skeptical. I'm just skeptical, and I'm not going to overhype a Belbitsa win. Like, is where I'm at.
I can get behind that. If that's the frame that we're going to put Meatball's performance under, then I'm fully there for that. Is that, yeah, you looked great, but it's the same thing I said about Garimbo. You looked great, but who do you look great against?
And it's like, man, what's she really going to do in this division, right? Like, I don't think either of us see her, like, cracking the top 10, really. Like, I think all these girls in the top 10 are bad news for her, dude. Fucking Mackenzie Dern, Lupita Godinez. I mean, maybe Marina Rodriguez or Amanda Ribas has a bad night. Like, they kind of lay eggs sometimes. Like, maybe she gets the jump on them. But, like, I don't think if they fought 10 times that she's winning 6 of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
bro,
I mean, same thing with like an Angela Hill. Like, she could be Angela Hill. Like, if Angela Hill has a bad night and she has a good night, like that could happen. That's not impossible. But like,
bro, who was the fighter that I hated? That was the Happy Warrior. Oh God, she was just the most boring fighter on earth. I can't remember.
Modafferi?
Yes, Roxanne Modafferi. I hate that chick. Anyway, point of bringing her up is because I just saw Verna Yandiroba's name. She has now taken the spot of most hated female in the UFC.
Oh, I don't know. I might have some that I hate more. Actually, fucking the entire top 3 of the bantamweight division I may hate more, but whatever. Point well taken. Point taken.
I'm just saying based on like, I guess you're right because I do hate Juliana Pena a lot more, and Raquel Pennington's right up there. Like, bro, that's a fight that I'm like tempted to say whatever card they're on, like. Maybe we stream that because I don't want to pay them money. Like I'm not here for that. I don't support them. I don't want them to be champions. They're boring.
That division's in a real bad spot, bro. That's because either way, I think Pena or Pennington, they have like 1 or 2 more fights each. Maybe. I mean, I think whoever wins the belt probably retires. I mean, that by all indications. And then
I could see Pena trying to fight till she's 42 and just getting dog walked.
Cashing checks, yeah. Pennington seems like she wants out. Pennington seems like she wants out. Like all of her interviews and tweets, and she seems like she's ready to just be a mom and retire. So, like,
I that division's in trouble. I don't know how else to say it.
But 15 and 25 is in a good spot. But yeah, man, I guess like I'm just kind of like dauber mediocre, just dauber like steady as she goes, not up, not down on Meatball. I give slightly up because it was down, but it went from down to neutral, not down to up, if that makes sense. So while it does increase, it's not that high on Meatball at strawweight. Like maybe she gets a couple wins, maybe she takes a couple L's. I don't think she fights for a belt, and that's not hate. That's like better analysis. Like I wouldn't bet her against anybody in the top 10. Maybe not anybody in the top 13. And then maybe there's maybe 14 or 15, but that's super matchup based. It's still not necessarily a vote of confidence in overall projection.
100% agree. Now, I just want to ask you, looking forward, you like Hermansson or Pfeiffer? Pfeiffer minus 220.
Yeah, and actually, I'm a true scumbag and already have my picks for next week, so we can dive into it a little bit.
Let's do a quick little look ahead then.
All right, so Hermansson Pfeiffer, I'm gonna not do what I did with Charles Johnson, man. I have Hermansson above Pfeiffer in my ranking. So in all reality, it's a no bet. But as far as verdict pick, I'm gonna pick Hermansson. I'm not gonna Charles Johnson myself this week. I'm gonna trust my rankings.
Okay, all right. Now,
hot take, I know everybody and their dog's picking Pfeiffer in that one. What's the money line there?
Minus 220 for Pfeiffer, plus 180 for Hermansson.
That'll probably swell, too. I imagine it'll swell. Nobody's going to bet on Hermansson, including me. I'm just picking it.
Yeah, I think Pfeiffer's the logical pick there, but it's hard. Betting-wise, I like it as a pick where I don't have to risk money. Risking money, I would, like, if you told me, like, you have $20 and it's your life, I got to go Pfeiffer.
Because, hear me out, Pfeiffer has passed the eye test with flying colors. But he has a very Mike Malott-esque resume. Look at who he's beat, bro. He's been crushing cans. His schedule has been lax. Very lax.
Okay, and then as far as all the other fights on this card, I actually don't care. The look ahead I care about is 298. I'm surprising you. I'm pulling Give me gyms. Give me Fight Night gyms.
My early locks.
Yeah,
we rarely give out picks on this show. But I'm going to give out some ones that I really love. Only my 3-star bets. I'm only going to give out my 3 stars. I love Ige over Feely, minus 175. Feely looked really good in his last outing, but I don't think you can ignore the previous, 7-8 years. I think Ige is a higher caliber of fighter that's fighting way down. I love Ige. Right now it's at minus 175, or at least it was when I looked at it.
Minus 180 now.
So I love that in a parlay. That's a parlay builder, value squeezer for sure. And I only have one more 3-star bet on next week, and it's going to be Marcos over Arochi. I think Marcos – I like Marcos in that one quite a bit. I have him ranked quite ahead of Arochi. Arochi is like a 500 fighter. Marcos, I believe, is undefeated and has a very high ceiling.
Sharps tend to agree with you right now. Money pouring in against Marcos in big quantities. It looks like 3 times now. Big bets been placed on Marcos. So
Yeah, I like Marcos a lot. Marcos and Ige are my 3-star locks. So do what you will with that information, folks.
People, write that down. That might be important because this man's rankings have been hot this year so far. Now, diving 298, just real fast. I know we're going to do probably a deeper look ahead on next week's episode, but Volkanovski minus 120, Topuria plus 100. I'm very tempted to bet a lot on Volk right now at minus 120. That feels so fucking juicy for a guy that honestly I have Topuria behind Holloway, and I have Volk above both of them. So it's like at minus 120, I almost, by Billy Walter standards, have to place that.
I agree, man. I have Ilya ranked 4. I have actually Evloev above Topuria. I'm kind of
I have Evloev right behind Topuria, but I see where you're at. Like, we're in the same spot with them.
I think Evloev could beat him matchup wise. And so I agree. You're giving me 1 versus 4 at minus 120. I like Volk a lot there, value wise. And also, I think Volk's coming off of 2 L's technically, right? 0 of which was against the featherweight. And Topuria has such a different skill set than Islam. Like, I don't think you can be like, oh, Islam did this to Volk, therefore Topuria is going to do this to Volk. I think Topuria is such a different fighter than Islam, size-wise, skill-wise, mindset-wise, steroid package-wise.
100%. IV rehydration-wise.
Yeah.
And Volk has a higher work rate on the feet, and he has a bigger reach, which usually Volk is outreached. Topuria is 1 inch taller and has 4 inches less or 3 inches less in reach.
Yeah, and it's like there's no Topuria is not about to like submit Volk. He's not going to out-wrestle Volk. He has to outstrike him, and like good luck with that. One of the GOATs.
Yeah, good luck. I agree with you. Minus 120 there. I think I'm going to hammer that. There's some other, like, there's big names. The next 3 events are going to be up for events of the year, 100%. Whitaker Costa is our main event here.
Whitaker lock.
I like Secret Juice Costa plus 165.
Nope. I Whitaker lock. I just don't think Paulo's taking his career seriously. And I'll just leave it at that.
No.
Yeah. I mean, he's a pull-out merchant. He fucking never fights. His last fight was against Luke Rockhold, which was a banger. What do you think Robert Whitaker does to Luke Rockhold right now?
Beats him up. But I think Whitaker we might have actually seen him be the point where he's over the hump. Like, we might have actually seen the breaking point for Whitaker.
But what I'm saying is Costa is just nothing. He's not over the hump. He's not under the hump. He just doesn't fight ever, and just tweets.
Well, I'll have to get closer to that fight, but primarily now, I like Costa. Now, keeping it pushing, Ian Gary minus 225. Ian the Cuck Gary, sorry, minus 225. Taking on Jeff Neal plus 185. I like Ian Gary, I guess.
Let me see here. Let me see what I'm working with.
I mostly like this fight to go over. I don't know if the prop is out for over here, but that's more what I would like.
I actually agree with both of your takes. I have Ian Gary ranked 2 spots ahead of Jeff Neal. Probably a no bet on the money line, but you're right, the over there. Both guys have chins. Both guys, tough fight for both guys. I kind of like the over there too. Yeah, but probably a no bet for me money line wise, if I'm being honest.
Fully agree. Too dangerous for Ian Gary to be minus 225, but not juicy enough for Jeff Neal at plus 185. So Vegas is in their book with that one. They're in their bag. All right, we'll go through a couple more here before we wrap it up because I think there's just a couple very interesting names still left. Obviously, bro, we got to talk about Valashvili Cejudo. Cejudo plus 165, Merab minus 195.
Merab, even I'm probably gonna 2-star that one.
Ooh,
I like Merab a lot. Not 3-star lock, but I'll probably 2-star. Because my 1 stars, it's kind of a coin flip. I have to pick somebody. I'm gonna pick this guy. 2 stars, I feel good about, but I can't go as far as to say lock. Yeah, I just think. Well, Cejudo, you seen his interviews lately? He's already talking about retiring. What's our golden rule? If a guy's talking about retiring, you bet against him. And even without that, I still have Merab ranked 2 spots ahead of Cejudo in my power rankings. But you couple that with our retirement talk golden rule, hammering Merab.
All right, you know what? You sold. You sold me on it. I wanted Cejudo. I liked it stylistic. But if he's talking about getting out, Merab's pressure is going to break him.
And Michael's age gap golden rule. Like, Henry Cejudo's much older than Merab. So I think there's a lot of things leaning Merab there.
Well, actually, Merab's 33, Cejudo's 36.
There's a big difference in 36 and 33.
Yeah,
like, I think MMA history will tell you the same.
And Miles, too. Cejudo been Olympic wrestling since literally 18. So,
yeah.
Talking about 18 years professional athletics.
And then the time off for Henry Cejudo and the L coming off an L. Then you don't forget the Cerro Longo gym has the map for Cejudo already.
True. Okay, last couple. We have two more here. Kopylov, Anthony Hernandez. So interesting. I can't wait. Who would you just pick before hearing odds?
According strictly to my power rankings, I have Kopylov, but I'm a Kopylov ball washer. So,
well, good for you, sir, because you're going to get him at plus 145 right now.
And those are the types that be cashing, baby. Them plus 145s be cashing.
You like how I asked you? So I asked you that way because now we can pretty much lock that up as at least a 2-star because you're getting value on something that you already like.
That's how I make my picks. I always pick the fight and then go look at the odds to not be swayed.
Yeah, so there you go. We got Kopylov. I like that in the bag as well. Now, I will say, I see the path for Hernandez surviving an onslaught and turning some shit on its head. The dude has a knack for doing it. Last fight I want to talk to you about, and it's not even for a betting purpose in any sort of facet. It's just that Rinya Nakamura is fighting Carlos Vera. Nakamura's minus 800. They know how good he is.
Should be. I don't even think I have Carlos Vera in my rankings because he's a nobody, right? I mean, who's Carlos Vera?
Yes, absolute can crushing, but I'm just saying, like, the respect to give minus 800 just shows, like, we have no fear that you could possibly lose this fight in any facet.
It really goes to show, like, Chael put it this way, and I agree with him. If a money line's minus 800, what that's telling you is that this fight shouldn't have been booked.
Yeah. Oh, anything that gets over minus 650 is just like, we shouldn't have booked this. Because I will say there are some minus 600s where it's like late minute replacement or whatever
Sean
the case.
Strickland.
Yeah, type shit like that where it's like, okay, like there's no respect on this guy and it's late or last minute. All the odds are against him, but there's still a chance, right? That's like a minus 600 feel. Minus 800 is like, there's really not a chance, man. Which is like, why are we booking it?
Yeah, why are you fighting? Why are we watching? And nobody's going to be betting. So it's just no fun for anybody, honestly. I would have, like, Rinya Nakamura, bro, like, there's so many good fights you can give him. And then, so, like, it's just kind of disappointing, to be honest. Like, let me see who I'd like to see him matched up against.
Feels like staging. Also, we do have one last thing to cover after Nakamura as well. Just to wrap up the show, we have one last, like, major headline.
Yeah, I would love to see Nakamura fight like a Yanez or a Basharat or a Marcus McGee. I mean, a Taylor Lapalus. A million other fights that I would have wanted to see for him. But, yeah, anyway, keep going.
So, I was going to say, UFC 300 looks like we're going to get a matchup here. I believe it was announced today that we're going to get what's the heavyweights? Aspinall and Cyril Gane as the main event of 300. How do you feel?
Really? I didn't hear that. I mean, I'm stoked for it. I think Aspinall should not be punished, like, as far as like not being able to cash a paycheck because Stipe and John want to suck each other off. So I'm here for it, man, in the sense that, like, I like Aspinall, and if this means Aspinall gets to, like, be employed and earn a living, like, and I enjoy watching him fight. I think he's going to fuck up Cyril Gane. So, sure. I mean, UFC 300 main event. But see, I've been trying to get myself out of this WrestleMania mindset when it comes to UFC 300. I think a lot of fans kind of set themselves up for disappointment there, and nothing was ever going to crack the threshold. So if you're just looking at it as like a card, a really good card, then this adds to it. Sure, why not? If you're talking about is this going to win Twitter and be WrestleMania, then clearly not. But I'm not viewing it that way anyways.
Yes. Now, I would also say at the UFC 300, the depth of the card is insane. Sorry, I'm just trying to verify that I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I didn't come across that one, but I haven't really been in MMA Twitter
Oh
really
man,
today.
I'm seeing. Okay, now I'm seeing something different that it could be potentially Pereira and Aspinall.
Now that has more UFC 300 vibe. That's a little bit more of like a fun, little extra spicy pizzazz. That gets me a lot more juiced on some like WrestleMania type shit, to be honest. Like that, the cross champ matchup by definition qualifies as a super fight. And then everything I said about Aspinall still applies. He shouldn't be punished and not be able to earn a paycheck because Jones and Stipe want to suck each other off. So everything I said still stands with a little extra, some style points added on top.
And then I've also heard rumor that Leon Bilal is like the fallback 300 main event if they couldn't get something else booked. I've heard a lot of rumors, but it's either Aspinall and Gon or Aspinall and Pereira is going to be that main event. I'm pretty sure it's Aspinall, though, for 300.
And then if you give me Leon Bilal as a co-main, I mean, I think that if you ask for anything more than that, then you're some kind of like weirdo. Like you're not living in reality. Like the whole Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey bullshit. Like fuck all that. That's a joke. That's joke talk. That's not serious MMA talk. If you're talking about like actual legitimate real life UFC fights that need to be booked, I don't think you can ask for more from 300. I think you're living in fantasy la video game land if you're wanting more.
100% agree with you, and I think important to note here, you have 44 days in March and April until April 13th, the day of the event. So 44 days plus what do we have here? 23. So you're talking 67 days right now. So we're about 9.5 weeks out from the event. Pretty much, man, all these guys, if it's a championship fight, 1 8-week camp. So, point being, we're going to know in the next 10 days, I'm pretty sure, of what this main event is officially.
And even the rest of the card is sick, man. Like the fights that are gonna, I think Aljo Cater is gonna be on the prelims.
Yeah, bro. Yuri and Rakic headline the prelims.
Yeah, like that's so sick, bro. Like I said, if you're not like stoked on 300, then you're just kind of like a miserable fuck who like you're like the fucking fat nerd that works at Taco Bell that's like saying like scrolling through Playboy and be like, I want it smashed. You know what I'm saying? It's like the delusional assholes that like
bro, the early prelims is Bo Nickel and Cody Brundage. Jessica Andrade, by the way, Bo Nickel minus 1,500. Jessica Andrade, Marina Rodriguez, Bobby Green, Jim Miller, and Sadiq Yusuf, Diego Lopez. That's the early pre's.
I mean, that's a fight night. That's like a fight night main card right there, basically.
Quite literally. And then, bro, the prelims right now are Davison Figueiredo, Holly Holm, Calvin Kattar, Yuri Prohaska, Alexander. Or I'm sorry, what am I saying? Davison Figueiredo, Cody Garbrandt, Holly Holm, Kayla Harrison.
I'm gonna bet my left nut on Figueiredo, by the way. Like that's probably gonna be my UFC 300 like betting person.
Well, he's minus 350, so Vegas is with you.
Yeah.
Holly Holm, Kayla Harrison, Calvin Kattar, Aljo. Calvin Kattar, by the way, the favorite, minus 115. I want to dump money on Aljo.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bet a lot. I like Aljo. That's a lock. Also, I'm gonna pull a Chael here. You know when Chael, like Mystic Chael, would predict that Oliveira wasn't gonna fight Islam Makhachev. The Kayla Harrison Holly Holm fight's not gonna happen.
She ain't making.
I'm calling that.
That's not a weight she can weigh. She can't weigh that much.
She won her Olympic gold at 172, bro.
Right. Yeah, she can't weigh 135. It's just not gonna happen.
So I'm making my Chael Charles Oliveira prediction right now. That fight's not taking place. You heard it here first.
And then Yuri, by the way, against Rakic, Yuri plus 100.
I like Yuri a lot on that. Rakic has been injured. So has Yuri, but Yuri's been back since then. I love you.
All right, then main card. Dubronx, Sarukian, Dubronx plus 170.
I like Dubronx there. I'll do a little sprinkle.
So, yeah, I was going to say, does that get you going? Plus money on Dubronx?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I like it.
Gaethje minus 200, Holloway plus 170.
That's probably about right. Although People forget Holloway's a lot younger than Gaethje, and Gaethje's also been throwing the retirement word around too.
Interesting. Could be interesting. Could get a little like $10 dog lay running.
Little sprinkle on Holloway. Like you're betting on a goat here.
Listen, there's a dog parlay to be made out of this 100%, and then Whaley minus 400. I mean, that's not even. You know.
No, I mean maybe if you're throwing out like a 5-legger, maybe you know what I mean. If you're throwing out like a 5-legger, like it might be worth your time. But yeah, and then just going back to Prohaska Rakic, I have Prohaska ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots ahead of Rakic, which when you get to that top end is a pretty wide margin. So Prohaska plus 100, if I'm going to be true to my power rankings, is like a wet dream.
Bro, also, just a side note, right now you can get Michael Chandler plus 100 for his fight against Conor when it gets booked. Like if you place just
Love that.
Yeah, I want to fucking throw my house on that.
Love that. Wow.
Yeah, plus 100 Michael Chandler. Like I think he's guaranteed to win that, but
yeah, me too, bro. But also Michael Chandler, lowest fight IQ in the UFC. He could just fucking like circle straight into the Conor left hand.
Well,
like everybody's like,
and he could just take the fight at 185 and completely fuck himself because he's an idiot. There's that chance too.
There's ways for Chandler to fumble that, but I still love that. But yeah, man, anything else, or wrapping it up for this week?
No, I think that'll wrap us up for the episode 155 prelims.
It's been a fun one. Check out our main card episode, Twitter/X at Beefy Breakdown. We made an Instagram account finally for this, just Beefy Boys Breakdown. Like it's mainly like we share memes and stuff on there, so like just to have some fun. But
number one breakdown account, number one.
Subscribe down below, brother. See you next week, y'all.